Hello, everybody. Very excited to be on today with a dear friend of mine that we have become fast friends as we've been going through a lot of different things in industry and projects together. But his name is MD3 Donovan the third. He's our guest speaker today, and hopefully I can entice him so we can do this weekly because we both like bantering and we both are involved in a lot of different industries and projects, and some of them which we work together. And I think that there's value in offering that up to the entrepreneurs out there, especially during these times in which a lot of you don't know how to or where to go to, especially in things like what we'll be talking about next week, which is like the PPE loans. Those are coming back. There's a second version. If you didn't qualify the first time, why didn't you qualify? We can talk about that. We can take questions in that, but that's next week. Let's talk about this week. So MD3 is short for Michael Joseph Donovan III. He is big. Him and I are huge in LinkedIn. I mean, we both have over 10,000 people on our lines, and we have very few people in common, which is pretty cool. Very few mutual friends in LinkedIn, which means that our networks are wide and they are far-reaching, and then by having allegiances and friends like this, you can actually grow your network and promote whatever it is that valuable service you have out there. And so it is with that in mind that we're going to talk a little bit about different things. Just so you know, MD3 is a licensed architect, broker, and general contractor, and on top of that, he's a real estate developer. And MD3 has 2 degrees from USC, he's a very passionate Trojan alumnus. So passionate that sometimes we're in calls and it's like, oh, I just got off a call in a Zoom with 25 or 75 people. I'm like, what is this? And you're a big organizer for the USC and alumni, and everybody at USC should be very proud of this Trojan because he wears his colors, man. I've seen it all the time, and because of that, he's able to also count on a lot of people. As not only his advisors, but collaborators and a lot of things. So he received his bachelor's of architecture in 1992, a master's on real estate development in 2005. Originally, he started out designing theme parks, if you can believe it, like hotels and casinos for famous entertainment companies such as Walt Disney Imagineering, Universal Studios, Warner Brothers, and Landmark Group on projects around the world. In fact, we were talking the other day, and you were telling me that you designed some stuff that you've yet to see in Japan, right?
Yeah, it's a true story, and it's a long story, but I will just say I've never been to Japan yet. I designed 2 different theme parks there. I have been to Asia. I've been to 3 or 4 countries there, but my wife's Japanese American. My family hosted Japanese exchange students for over a decade. 50 Japanese students have gone through my parents' house in Burbank, yet I've never even seen these projects. So they're existing, and they're well designed and appreciated there in Japan. And someday I'll get there.
Well, you'll get there. You'll get there. Japan is one of my favorite places. I've been privileged to be there in Tokyo, and as well as in Kyoto, and I love the culture. I am amazed by the way that the things are. It's like being in Legoland, but for real, And then there's no trash. Everything has a place and a purpose. It's a cool place to go.
I'm very jealous.
Yeah, you'll be there. More recently, MD3 has been a real estate developer consultant for the past 12 years. It's called home MD3 Property Solutions, and he helps all types of clients with residential and commercial project needs, guiding each of them through the planning, designing, entitlement, permitting, and the construction phases of their projects. I have personally known MD3 for almost a year now, and continue to learn interesting things with him. Welcome, MD3. How are you, brother?
Thank you very much. I appreciate the introduction. I'm doing well.
Good.
Good to see you.
So when did you think about, okay, I'm gonna be an architect? Because I know you for many things, but that one main thing that I see constantly is the design and your spirit about designing things. You were showing me what you do for your kids at home during, you know, Halloween. And I was like, man, this guy, if I ever need a place that is just whimsical and I have a lot of land to do it, I want you there.
You call
And
me.
so, you know, how did you get into it? When did you decide I'm going to be an architect?
Very, very young in life. You know, I played Legos and Tinker Toys and built things like everybody else did. But I really just kind of taught myself how to draft when I was like in 5th or 6th grade. I went around my parents' house and measured it and then drew it to perfect scale, and even the furniture. And I was just, that's kind of the first thing I can remember getting that direction. I took some formal classes in 7th grade. By 8th grade, I'm drawing whole sets of plans for a house. And I submitted those 8 pages of drawings to the California State Fair, and I won first place.
Oh, wow.
And all of California. The following year, also in junior high, I did another set of plans and built a scale house, type 5 wood frame model showing how houses are built. And I sent that to Sacramento State Fair again and won again. So I hadn't even set foot on high school, and I already knew I was destined to be an architect.
So when you were a kid, when you were at that age, did that just consume your life? You just wanted to get better at it? Did you put, you know, they say that you have to do 10,000 hours of practice before you become a master of something. So did that start your 10,000 hours?
It started. I don't consider myself a master necessarily because I've never, you know, I'm not an FAA or whatever. But I did understand the process and how things are built very early in life. I think the advantage that I had was I grew up in a very blue collar, low to medium income community in Sun Valley, and so everybody was a tradesman on my block, and there was, you know, the welder and the carpenter and framer and I worked with these people and I saw how they built things in either at their house or at their projects, and it just all came together for me. So
that's cool. I mean, you know, you've had such a diverse career. What and in all sorts of project types. And so, what has been the proudest design or building you've done?
It's hard to pick one particular thing. I think in my theme park days, it was really fun to do these, you know, projects like in Japan, and I'm still proud of designing the exterior skin of the hotel which was a Italian themed hotel called the Miracosta in Japan, and it's the first building you see when you go into the park. You literally go underneath it to go into the park, and again, I haven't experienced that myself, but I've seen all these pictures of it. That's one of my favorite projects. But development wise, a project that didn't get built was in the Arts District, and it was a 27 unit artist loft project called the E2 Lofts. Yeah. But unfortunately, the timing of that project didn't work out. We were going to renovate an existing building that had all these great features and you know, freight elevator, and it was, the whole building was 3 feet off the ground, heavy timber construction, and it was gonna be a beautiful building, and unfortunately, we just couldn't financially make it happen. But a lot of energy and effort went into that.
Every time that I meet with an architect, and I think the time that I spend the most time with working closely with the architect was when I built myself a little beach resort in Rosarito, Mexico. And I spent time with David, and I love the fact that when you're an architect, you're a dreamer, but man, you have to put so many dreams and lay it down on an actual blueprint and then do the layers, and then it might never happen. So to me, it's like, oh my God, you know, and I'm sure that it's not about the money, because you probably get paid. I remember me, you know, paying 5 different architects until the one I wanted to make the house. But I mean, you know, I am sure that in their quotes, they were hoping that I get the project, right? So to me, it's like, I see you and you're always so excited about architecture, and I'm like, oh my God, but it's just, you got to kiss so many frogs, and you have to do it, you know, lay out a plan, and then sometimes it never goes from there. But
it's a true statement. My design portfolio that's on my LinkedIn profile that anybody could access has all my designs for basically a decade, and only about half of that was constructed. And it's just, you know, there's so many things beyond our control. We don't touch the money ever. We're not the finance side of it, and most projects die simply because the funding source dies, and that has nothing to do with us.
it's like a movie producer, you know,
Yeah.
you're always ready there to go and make it happen and make work on budgets and stuff. But until there's green light, there's no green light, right? So, you know, I admire that. And how did you get started? Where's your professional background came because of your parents, or how did you decide that this is what I'm going to do?
Actually, surprisingly, no. Both my parents did not go to USC or even college. My father didn't finish high school until he got his GED when he was like 35. So they, you know, they were not the beacons of showing me the way. I think I was very self-motivated, and I went to the right people for the right answers. You know, one of the things I tell people is you don't go to get legal advice from your plumber and vice versa. And so I went to architects. I didn't go to my parents for advice about that. I went to architects, and I was trained by Malcolm Kodama, who was my junior high architecture teacher. And he said, every chance you see, when you see an architecture firm, pull over, you know, a little hole in the wall, pull over, car, knock on the door, tell them who you are. You're nobody, but you want to be an architect one day, and see what they say to you. And I did that. And I got inside and talked to a lot of architects, and I knew exactly what I was getting into as a career.
That's awesome. You know, but you're not only an architect. What made you then become a general contractor, a broker, and a developer? What was that?
Well, you know, I wanted to have more control over my career, and so I was laid off quite a bit in the entertainment industry. Literally, for the first 7 years out of school, I had 14 different jobs or projects, because I was always hired for the project, not the company, and so I had to go find work somewhere else when the project died. So you learn that way, and I was trying to find more security, and so when I got laid off the last time because of the events of 9/11. I knew I had to take a different path. And so I very reluctantly went back to USC and got my master's in real estate development after 11 years in the field. And so I thought that was going to bring more security, though I question that now, because you're dealing with the same economics of the world that affect your ability to do your business. And so, and then I later got into.
Sorry, all those licenses are active right now?
Yeah, so I am a licensed architect. I just paid my hundreds of dollars and took my 5 hours of reoccurring education, and my broker's license is active. My contractor's license is on hold because no one's really hiring me right now for that. So I don't like to pay fees for no reason. So it is inactive but valid. So I just have to turn that on anytime I want.
It's funny because one of the things that I am most known for in the industry of insurance, and currently I don't have any insurance projects that require me to have a license, so it's practical. But the knowledge is still here, the experiences are still here, right? So that's what's important. So what exactly does MD3 Property Solutions Inc. do? You do a suite of things, you do everything. What?
Yeah, it really depends on as a project comes to me, that, you know, whether it's residential, I try to do more commercial projects because they're not as personal as people's houses. And so I help them depending on what the needs are. You know, I could be the design, the entitlement, the planning, the construction, even selling it if I need to get involved with that. Example, just literally as we were waiting to get this thing started today, I got a phone call not even an hour ago, and somebody explained that they are an investor and owner of a two-story building downtown LA that caught fire last month. Now it's devastated, and then there's no tenants anymore, and they need to get things fixed. And so he wants me to bring on the project to help him as the owner's representative or project manager, to help him through the process of getting that building back up to par. So it's going to take a lot of different parts of my skills, from redesigning it to getting it engineered by somebody else, and going through the process using my Rolodex of 13,000 contacts to find the right contractors to come out.
You don't say Rolodex, man, anymore.
So that's what I do. And before that, there was another person that had another building in the valley, and they just bought it and they want to renovate it. So, you know, I can handle all of the things that they need from A to Z, from design to opening day. Cool.
So then you're like a problem solver. You have all these different solutions for the.
That's what that's the nickname I gave myself, was I'm a property solver. So I'm here as MD3 Property Solutions to help you with whatever your problem is with your project, whether it's residential or commercial. Call me and I help you figure it out.
That's cool. No, so that comes in handy now in COVID 2020 and COVID 2021 now, right? People need people that can help. And how has COVID affected your business?
It's been really challenging. I will not lie. I'm a big networker. I'm an individual that gets involved with a lot of organizations that gathers from breakfast meetings to cocktail hours. And I would be out and about, introducing myself to groups 3-4 nights a week. And now with COVID, I can't do any of that. So it's been very challenging, to say the least. And the problem is, I can't meet face to face. And so I don't know. Before I was an expert, I knew what the markets were doing. I could tell you how retail is performing and blah, blah, blah. And now I have to kind of hear it, third party through, news broadcast. And so my ability to connect with people is much more limited. And that's been a frustrating experience.
But when there is a challenge, or when there is chaos, or when there's things like going on like COVID, there is an opportunity. And we were talking earlier about the opportunity that the staffing industry offers, and now you're doing that with a company called Juno Group. What do they do?
So Juno Group has been around for I think 12 years, and the ownership has been around for twice that in that space. And so they were helping me try to find clients and projects or jobs or whatever. And then they realized, and I'm telling them, I said, well, I kind of already know that group and they don't do that and blah, blah, blah. And so I knew more about my industry than they did. And they said, well, you've got all these contacts. Why don't you utilize them better? And I said, well, I'm always looking for a reason to use my contacts and friendships and relationships that I've established over my life. And so I recently agreed to come on board with them as their part-time vice president of business development.
Awesome.
And so I'm going to be rolling out a program shortly for them to attract new business and clientele. And I'm excited. I think there is a definite opportunity, and that's something we discussed briefly, you and I, and we're both kind of trying to figure that out and see where it takes us.
So, like, for example, I got involved in staffing from the workman's comp side of it, but I got to be honest with you, I've been working and researching like crazy in the last, say, 4 weeks just on staffing. I've been visiting staffing agencies, and there's all types. So I know that ones that I've been focusing are more the ones that supply the Amazon chains here and all the UPSs and FedEx, because I don't know if you know, but in this area in San Bernardino County, precisely in Ontario, in the Ontario airport, most of the traffic that used to come into LAX, it was so bad that the trucks weren't flowing on time. So they moved most of that to the Ontario airport. So it's a constant activity out of the Ontario airport. And that goes into the Amazon, it goes into Walmart, supercenters, it goes into, and so in all these places, they are short people because of COVID. Therefore, it presents an opportunity, a huge opportunity for staffing agencies. But from your side, I think you are going towards a different. This would be like what I'm talking about is the industrial or warehouse worker. You're talking more specifically about architects, right?
Yeah, the people that they want me to pursue are people that have degrees or licenses. So engineers, architects, construction managers, those types of folks. And that's who I plan to target first and offer my services for. These are industries I completely understand. I've been doing them for decades. So, go with what you know. And also these people that I'm reaching out to, they already know me. So this company does not believe in cold calling or hard sales. So it's perfect for my ability to use my network for the highest and best use.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing how nowadays you can offer so much value for companies like them because of the network that you have. One of the things I like about your network that is similarly to what I believe is I don't like burning any bridges. Therefore, if I have people that are in my network, I try to help them whenever I can for whatever they need. And in return, they help me, man, when I have questions, when I need a contact. And that kind of fluidity in a network is hard to find. I know you have it. I know I have it. Very few other people that I see on a constant basis have it, and to manage it, and to make sure that you are a trusted advisor to those people that listen to you in your network, especially in business, because let's face it, most people don't spend as much time in social media when it comes to the business side of it.
Right.
But those that do, I think that they find a lot more opportunity, because simply it's all about information, and who do you trust, right?
It is. I'm not new or late to social media, and there's things I like about it and there's things I don't. And I try to have some privacy with my family and friends, but also, I'm a huge, big user of LinkedIn as you are. And the power of that tool is unprecedented. And it's a huge database of opportunity of meeting people. And I've been very successful in tapping into that and utilizing it and reaching out, engaging my sphere of influence or people I wanted to target to bring to my circles. And I've been very effective in that. And why can't anybody else do that? I literally teach my process to other folks that want to learn. And some people have no interest, and that's fine. Great.
It's like Facebook with a purpose.
Yeah, there you go. I'll steal that line from you.
I started taking LinkedIn very seriously when I saw how it was applied in Mexico. I was at a tech conference in Guadalajara a couple of years back, and all of a sudden I saw how much of a normalcy it was between the people in Mexico to share the link for their LinkedIn, right? So they can connect that way. And then there was a lot of workshops from LinkedIn Mexico, and there was they had these little booths where you can create your own profile. And I realized, they're using it a lot. And in the United States, a lot of culture, you don't hear too much about it. But hey, I certainly publish my articles through LinkedIn because I know it's going to reach the people in business. It's not going to reach my 64 first cousins in Costa Rica that have no interest in the business that I can help them with. So yeah, I find LinkedIn to be a very, very good thing. And now that we are extending, as you know, my wife is a professional photographer and does social media, and so we work with different industries. We just finished in a remodeling and construction company. We're currently working with real estate and real estate developers, and also now with staffing. And there's a lot of growth in teaching somebody to go from paper to digital. Like you've seen what we do.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. I know you've got so many irons in the fire. It's great. I love your enthusiasm. As an entrepreneur, you're not afraid of anything. You're not afraid of talking to anybody. You've already have a track record of creating a very successful business that you sold. I've heard all these stories before that happened before I met you. And so this is a kind of guy I need to spend more time with. I'm thinking this is the kind of guy I want to invest in a long-term relationship with, someone that's really going for it and has gone for it and succeeded. And so you have a new thing going up. Don, help me with this name. Don Phygital.
Don Phygital.
Don Phygital.
Yeah.
Don Phygital.
Yeah.
So even the name, it throws me, but you told me briefly about it earlier, and it was like, it has a great story.
Yeah, Don Phygital. What most people don't understand is that we're going through changes all the time, but particularly now, in this time, in this slice of history, we're going through so many changes, and those changes just sped up with the pandemic. So we really, Minerva and I have been helping a lot of businesses, and I've helped a lot of business and creative business, as you mentioned, in the past, but we never give it a name. We sort of go and help, and the enthusiasm of learning a new industry excites me. Once I can understand the in and out of an industry, it just excites me to learn more, and then to synthesize it and take it into apply technology to it and show how the processes can drop. For example, we were talking about staffing. What does Don Phygital do? Well, we go look at what staffing is today, see where we can find not shortcuts, but really processes, little processes that you can connect, whether it's through apps or through CRMs. And then once you connect them in an effective way, you're able to not only have your staff work remotely, but you're able to see on your phone what's the activity in the office, how's the calls volume, how are the sales leads going, how everything. And you can affect it in real time. Taking a company to that level is what taking physical, into Fidgetal, into digital, physical, digital. So Don is like senor, like, Mr. in English. So Don Phygital. Minerva is Donna Phygital. So we thought it would make it fun because really, we wish we could really go and explain to somebody in one word what going through transition is. But just like you were like, okay, I can't even pronounce this. Can I understand it? And then it starts a conversation that most entrepreneurs have to have. And that question is, man, what's your 5-year plan? Where do you see your company? And if any of those answers have anything to do with what I call analog, which is paper, office space lease, employees working out of the office 9 to 5, all those need to be changed. But it's not only about applying for us at Don Phygital. It's not only about applying the technology and our know-how and experiences with different industries and different businesses, but it is also about showing clear results and returns on investment, because most people, it's like the boogeyman. They don't want to go into a digital closet. They don't want to know what they don't know. And they're afraid they're going to be charged a lot to get them there. But it really doesn't cost as much as it used to, because just like we were talking about changes, we are at a time in which technology has gotten so much more less expensive than before. But you have to know what to use, because you can have 20 subscriptions that do nothing for you, right? And then you're like, oh my God, but why am I paying for that? Why am I paying for that again? I was gonna, and you never get to do that thing that you should do, right? So like, for example, I can teach you that, look, there is certain things that you use that you're only going to use once or twice every year. So why not just take the free trial, do what you need to do, show you how to do it, and then that's it. When you need it again, just do a free trial. Or if it really is something that works for you, then just pay it. But what happens is people get excited, entrepreneurs, they get excited about all these new things that they're out there, or they hear from their colleagues about something and they try to implement it themselves, because logically, we were talking about how you self-started yourself. With entrepreneurs, it's a self-starter. So therefore, they think, okay, well, a couple of YouTube videos will teach me how to use that app, and then how do I apply it? Well, how do you tie those apps together? And how do you make it make sense? So everything would be on the phone. And that's kind of like what Minerva and I do. The other side of it is we also help you, look like you're in 2021 and not in 2019, because there's a big difference between those 2 years when it comes to people and looking at your social media, and people looking at the kind of things that you post, and looking at what kind of landing page or website do you have, what questions are you asking this audience, right? All those things is now, and it's here. And if you as an entrepreneur are not there, for whatever industry you're in, some industries are intensive, like insurance. Some industries like income tax, it's a lot easier, because you're there. You have industry software that you already have been using for a long time. All we need to help you is with the sales process and get your leads.
So it sounds to me that Don Phygital is your umbrella company, and that entitles you or enables you to help clients in multiple different industries and multiple different tasks, bringing people to the 21st century or 2021, making their companies more efficient. I know you're a big fan of the software Monday, and you showed me that. I'd heard of it and I'd never seen it, and I was super impressed from what you were able to create with that last client that you were working with. So you're obviously got many things going on, and it's exciting. It's exciting in the future you're presenting.
But what's most exciting is showing somebody giving them value, so showing them something that they have never done before, that they thought that they couldn't do, and they get it done. And then the daily process becomes a lot more effective and a lot more valuable. They have a little bit more sanity. Have you ever walked into an office and seen post-it notes everywhere? I mean,
Yeah.
what's to say that it doesn't blow away? So we educate them, we train them, we teach them how to use these tools, and we just don't do that, do the setup and just leave them alone. No, we want to make sure that they get involved, that they actually respond to other team members and start doing it in a different way than they have always done it. Because if you have an office with a bunch of people in the same office, obviously there's a way that they've been communicating for a long time. Now, when they're remote, they have to stay still in communication. How do they do that? And that's what we help. We help people retrain their staff and retrain themselves and see what can be expected out of technology. And again, it's not just the technology; it's about the experience. And thank God we've been able to do that for a lot of different stuff. I mean, we've done it in insurance, we've done it income tax, we've done it in real estate development, construction, immigration. And by the way, immigration now is going to be a big thing, right? Because now you're going to have a lot of people that in the past were not upwardly mobile. They had to stay with basic jobs, but now they're going to have the opportunity to what I call be outside, right? Be outside and be not having to look over their shoulder if they get pulled over because they might not have papers, things like that. That is a big change.
I like your point about the technology and how we're all forced to be remote now, but businesses that didn't handle that well, they didn't have the technology in place. Also, the management style is important. If you are someone that likes to micromanage and just feels like you need to put your fingers on every employee and don't give them autonomy, you're probably suffering right now, and you don't trust your employees to get that 8 hours of work in. And so I think you're going to see the thinning of the herd between businesses that can adapt and those that cannot.
Right.
But I think a company like yours, if the ownership is open-minded enough, you can bring them the tools so that they can have control of their company, see what people are doing, but not necessarily have to physically be in the same room anymore.
Yeah, and it's exciting to see once you see the business owner go, oh man, I can do that. You mean I can do a pie chart without having to know Excel, and all I have to do is press this button and do it as often as I want, and it's going to be live. When they start realizing they can think live with the data, that's when the aha moment happens, right?
Right.
And we're excited because everybody has to go through the transition, and we're getting busy, but all this technology also allows you to schedule your time and be able to deliver on every angle. And a lot of times you can just do it out of your home, right? So it's different.
I think the key point of that is teaching and training ownership, that you've been down the weeds so much and you're on top of your employees, where we're going to help you, relieve you of that time. We're going to save you time. We're going to make you more efficient so you can focus on the things that made you great in the first place. Your entrepreneurial ability to find clients and to create products and services and not deal with the day-to-day stuff, and get out of the weeds and stay up at the 30,000 feet level, so that you truly are a CEO and you truly are the president of the company versus being, another manager on the floor.
Yeah, and a lot of times entrepreneurs it has been so good so long, right, that they don't have to show up to the office, and if they do, it's at 2 p.m. and then at 4 p.m. they're already thinking, man, I'm scheduling out of here, right? And then when they get this COVID challenge, right, all of a sudden now employees might not be able to make it because they might have to quarantine and all these things. It's just very frustrating, especially for those that we know a lot of these hands-off owners, right? But now those that want to succeed must get re-involved with the business. And like I said, just shuffle everything around, look at it, and see what you got, and now see, okay, how do I take this, make it into a structure that makes sense, and then that's when we can begin to help, really retrain everything, and people can spend the time at home, and people can actually produce more and be more effective and be more connected to the customer.
That story triggers a memory of a client, young cousins, I think they were immigrants who came to this country after college or for college, and they started a construction company. But they were very inefficient, and they were just kind of lucky in terms of getting clients and that kind of thing. And they were doing good, but I said, now's the time, because I said this is not going to be this great forever. And I had no idea about COVID or pandemic. I just the trends of the economy going up and down, that, the wonderful amount of business they had prior was not going to sustain itself. And if they don't get more efficient and know their numbers and create systems of how to operate, they're going to eventually suffer. And I know for a fact that COVID may wipe them out, because they just didn't have it and they hadn't got their ducks in a row. And it's sad, because I could see it on the handwriting on the wall. Not that I predicted a pandemic or such a terrible stop in the economy, but there are going to be dips, and you got to be prepared for them. And
COVID is affecting a lot of businesses. Now that you are with representing the Juno group, I think that next Wednesday we should talk a lot about, not a little bit, but a lot, and focus on how to help entrepreneurs during this process. It's coming up with the second loan of PPE, and maximize your resources, automate you, keep you in business while COVID continues. We can help you stay in business. But the most important thing is, take advantage of the opportunity that the government is presenting in front of you, and we will help you with ideas as to what you need to do to qualify, why maybe you didn't qualify last time. And we'll take you step by step. We have, thank God, a lot of advisors and friends that can help us. And let's do this next Wednesday, same time, same channel. What do you think?
That sounds like a great idea. I will be asking more questions than giving answers next Wednesday, because PPE or any kind of program from the government is just not in my wheelhouse. I'm aware of these things. I don't know how they work. So I think I'll be asking you more questions next week, and you can educate me and anybody else that's paying attention to our chat about these processes and how we can benefit as small entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. And I know that you develop a lot for your students, a lot of different videos, and you have a lot of content. Where can they find that content if they are interested?
That's something I'm actually working on. The content itself has been something I've been working on since I was initially asked to teach courses at USC. And the fact that didn't happen, I still was able to create the courses. Now I've kind of, in my opinion, perfected the courses. And these are things about how to build a house, how to do land development, how to build, offices, retail, how to deal with contractors and architects like myself. So these are step-by-step processes, and they're typically an hour to 90 minutes. And my spirit of people that have seen them, even Monday night when I gave my last one, are very impressed with the quality and the knowledge base that I bring to the table. So I don't have a vehicle, and as you know, that's something we've been talking about, me and you, about finding that vehicle to finding a home for those that knowledge, and finding a way that we can be compensated for what that offers people. So stay tuned in terms of where that's going to be registered or placed for consumption, but it is on my things to do list, and as you know, you're going to be a big part of that. So
absolutely, we'll make sure that soon you'll have all this encyclopedia online available, and there's a lot of resources that he brings to the table. And so, categorizing that and then putting it out there is something we're putting in. Probably by Wednesday, we'll have some more news on that. So thank you very much.
I will be doing a Facebook, I will be doing an online Zoom presentation on how to build a house. I did it, like I said, last Monday, and it didn't get out to enough people. And I know you missed it yourself, and you explained you were interested. So I think not this Friday, but the following Friday, the first, I guess it'll be the first Friday in February.
So that's the 5th.
2 days after our next event, I will be doing it. So yeah.
So
I'll get that out, and if they reach out to us, I'll send them the link.
Good. So what we'll do is we'll do February 3rd together again on a Wednesday. And then for those of you that are interested, on February 5th, which is a Friday, he'll be doing a presentation that any of you that are involved in architecture, any of you that are involved in construction, is something that is worthwhile, because in other industries that I've been involved with, there is a lot more communication. With COVID, it even makes it more difficult for those of you that are aspiring to be everything that like MD3 is, which is contractor, architecture, real estate developer, all of that knowledge, learn it from us guys that have already passed, what do they call that? Once you pass 50, what are you?
I don't know.
Wiser. You're wiser.
Why smarter, better looking, I think it's called. No, the audience for this, how to build a house step by step, is everybody. It's not for contractors and subcontractors. It's for just average Joes that want to figure it out and learn. And there's very few opportunities that people have been presented where they have a comprehensive step-by-step process. We all live in houses. We all know what things look like, but we don't know how they were put together or why they were there. And so when I explain things, people are always like, wow, okay, that's why. So I came up with this presentation because I was speaking at UCLA and USC and also Pepperdine, guest lecturing on different topics. And I realized these people don't have a fundamental understanding of just even a house. So why don't we start with that and then work our way up to these more advanced topics that I get into at other lessons.
And also in the next meeting, we'll take some Q&A from people. That way, if you have, there is so many different projects he's been involved when it comes to building and designing and participating in the construction and all that, if you have questions out there, he's the guy to go to. And it's not difficult to get along with MD3, as hopefully you've seen today. And that's why I'm looking forward to our next one on Wednesday. So thanks very much for your time, man, and thank you for everything you do. And let's keep on doing it, and let's keep on helping people see the light, as they say.
Yes, I appreciate this opportunity. I appreciate your continued friendship, and I think the future is very, very bright. Let's work together to make that happen. And until next time, fight on, everybody.
Pura vida. Thank you very much, MD3. I'm Andre Don Phygital, and then we'll see you next Wednesday. See you soon. Bye-bye.